Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day to my student. Today we will discuss about chapter 4 about the income statement and the related information. As you know that there are some usefulness of the income statement. First is to evaluate the past performance. So by seeing the income statement of the company, you can evaluate the performance of the company. You can see whether the company is going up or not if we see from the profit and loss statement or the income statement. Second, by having the income statement, we can predict the future performance. For example, this year your company get profit 100. Next year we can predict that we will increasing maybe 20%. Your income statement will be increased, and then you can make some program that can assure that your prediction can be true. The third is help assess the risk of uncertainty of achieving future cash flow. So by assessing the risk and the uncertainty, you can know that how much money, how much cash will be inflow to your company. But the limitation of the income statement is the companies omit the item that cannot be measured reliably. The second, the income numbers are affected by the accounting method employed. And the last one is income measurement enforce the judgment. For example, that as we know with for the like depreciation, we have straight line, we have accelerated depreciation, and also in the income measurement there are some judgment whether that actually we have some what we call in accounting seems like a pessimistic paradigm. It means that in costing, if it can maksudnya dalam hal biaya, kalau biaya itu kemungkinan akan terjadi, maka itu akan dicatat. Tapi kalau misalnya soal pendapatan about the revenue, kalau itu masih kemungkinan, maka itu tidak boleh dicatat. Itu paradigma pesimistik kalau kita ngomongin soal accounting ya. And then in income statement, we also talking about the quality of earning. Companies have incentive to manage the income, first to meet earning target or to make earning look less risky. This is in accounting we have a business entity, and in accounting theory we know about the agency theory. So we sometimes the management will make the earning look less risky. It means that the company will get all of the income, and they it means that mereka menjadi sangat yakin bahwa pendapatan itu akan didapatkan. Earning management is the planned timing of revenue, expense, gains, and loss to smooth out earning. Jadi ada yang namanya manajemen laba. Manajemen laba ini seperti apa? Kalau misal ya, kalau pendapatan kita sudah terlalu besar nih pendapatan pada this year ya, pada tahun ini kita mempunyai pendapatan 100 juta, tapi biaya kita hanya 50 juta, bisa untung setengahnya kan. At the end of the year, for example 27 of December, pada tanggal 27 nih, kita dapat pendapatan, tapi belum kita catat, uangnya juga belum kita dapat, Lalu kita ngomong sama klien kita, bisa enggak pendapatannya itu we shifting to the next year, jadi pindahin aja nih, jangan di tahun 2002 ini tapi di tahun 2023. Kenapa? Because our revenue in this year is higher than our expense. Jadi sangat jauh sekali perbandingan antara pendapatan dan beban kita. Jadi pindahin aja ke tahun depan. Karena kenapa? Karena ya tahun depan kan masih misteri ya, still something mysteriously. So it's better for us to shifting the our revenue yang sebenarnya bisa kita dapat pada tahun ini, ya kita shifting di tahun depan. The quality of earning is reduced if earning management result in information that is less useful for predicting future earning and cash flow. Jadi kalau misalnya earning managementnya ini tadi dilakukan secara masif ya, maka the quality of earning juga akan menurun. Karena kenapa? Karena ya seharusnya ya laba kalau memang untuk this period, this is the profit of this period. Jadi nggak boleh di shifting di tahun yang akan datang. So what is the element of the income statement? First is income atau pendapatan. Increase in economic benefits during the accounting period in the form of inflow of or enhancement of assets or decrease of liabilities that result in increase in equity other than those relating to the contribution from shareholder. You must remember the accounting formula that said asset equal to liabilities plus equity. Ingat ya, persamaan akuntansi dulu in Introduction to Accounting 1 ada yang namanya aset, persamaan akuntansi aset sama dengan kewajiban plus modal. So we have two type of the account. We have income and we have expense. Income and expense is increase and decreasing the equity. You must keep it in your mind until you die. Jadi ingat itu tuh sampai, kalau dosen saya itu bilang ya ingat tuh sampai mati ya, bahwa persamaan akuntansi ini untuk anak akuntansi nggak boleh lupa. Karena kenapa? Karena ya kita mau ngomongi is my journal is correct or not, it's depend on your understanding in accounting formula. Jadi kalau kamu paham accounting formula ya kamu bisa katakan ya ini pendapatannya, iya pendapatan pasti di sebelah mana, kalau di jurnal pasti di sebelah kredit. Nah kan gitu. Kenapa di sebelah kredit? Karena pendapatan akan menambah equity. Di mana equity bertambah? Equity bertambah di sebelah kredit. Itu alasan kenapa pendapatan penjualan itu pasti di sebelah kredit. Income includes both revenue and gains. Jadi ada yang namanya revenue, ada yang namanya gains. What is the revenue? Ordinary activity of the company. You sell something, maybe you can sell services, or maybe you can sell product. We call it revenue, pendapatan. And we have gains. Gains ini namanya keuntungan. May or may not arise from ordinary activities. This is, for example, the revenue account. We have sales revenue, we have fee revenue, interest revenue, dividend revenue, and rent revenue. And for the example for the gain account is gain on the sale of the long-term assets and unrealized gains on trading securities. For example, you have long-term assets, or you have fixed asset, non-current asset, then you sell it to the another parties, and you get higher than from your cost history from buying that assets. Jadi kamu belinya 1 juta, jualan 1.500.000. 500-nya itu bukan revenue tapi gain, keuntungan kalian dalam menjual aset. And then the expense is decrease in economic benefits during the accounting period in the form of outflow of or depletion of assets or incurrences of liabilities. that result in decreases in equity other than those relating to distribution to the shareholder. This is for the example. The expense, we have expenses and losses. The expenses is ordinary activities of a company, and the losses is may or may not arise from the ordinary activities. The example of the expense account is cost of goods sold, harga pokok penjualan, depreciation expense, interest expense, rent expense, and salary expense. This is the ordinary activities of the company. And the example for the loss account is losses on restructuring charge, loss on the sale of long-term assets, and unrealized loss on trading securities. Ya, sama seperti contohnya tadi, kita punya aset, belinya 1 juta, nggak guna lagi nih asetnya, kita jual lah 700.000 misalnya. Ya, kita ada get loss dong. Karena kenapa? Karena kita belinya 1 juta, jualnya hanya 700.000. We get a loss for 300,000. And then this is the format of the income statement. This is the intermediate components. Components generally present some or all of these section and totals within the income statement. Jadi kalau yang ini tampilannya simple. We have sales revenue, deducting cost of goods sold, we have gross profit, and then minus selling expense, administrative or general expense, and plus other income and expense. We have income from operation. After that we have a financing cost, and then income before income tax. After that deducted by income tax, and then income from continuing operation minus discontinued operation, and then we have net income. After we got net income, we will have non-controlling interest. After that we will calculate the earning per share. And this is the example of the illustration for the income statement. This is a Bok Hong Company, the income statement that for the year ended December 2015. You can see that there is a sales account. Sales account consists of sales revenue minus sales discount and sales return and allowance. After that we get net sales for 2,972,000, and then minus the cost of goods sold. After that, after we deducted the net sales to the cost of goods sold, we got gross profit here. After we have gross profit, it will be deducted by the selling expense, administrative expense, and also other income and expense. So this is, for example, selling expense, sales salaries, sales office salaries, travel, advertising, etc. And then for the administrative expense, for example, is officer salaries, legal and professional service, and etc. until the miscellaneous office expense. And this is for the example of other income and expense. We have dividend revenue, rent revenue, gain on sale of rent assets, and also it will be deducted if we have other expense. This is, for example, is all of this is the other income. And then we have income from operation here. After that we got interest on bond and notes. We will have the income before income tax for 231,000 deducted by the income tax. We got net income for the year is 164,000, and then this net income will be attributable to the shareholder of Bok Hong for 120,000, and the rest of the net income will be attributable to non-controlling interest. Jadi apa itu non-controlling interest? Kalau kita punya saham nilainya 100, kamu punya 70%-nya, you have the 70,000 shareholder, it means that you own the company, and I only have maybe 10% of the share, it means that I am the non-controlling interest. Saya adalah non-controlling interest atau pihak yang non pengendali. Jadi saya tidak bisa menentukan arah kebijakan dari perusahaan itu mau dibawa kemana. Kamu yang punya 70% saham itu yang mempunyai hak kemana perusahaan itu akan dibawa, kebijakan-kebijakan, memilih direktur dan lain sebagainya. And then if you say that okay, the previous one this is it's very hard, you say that I cannot understand about this, you can change the form of the income statement. In this condensed income statement, you can see that net sales minus cost of goods sold, you get gross profit, and then we have selling expense and administrative expense and other income expense. It means that you make summarize the expense. In other words, you can see that after the gross profit minus the selling expense, you don't care about what is the component of the selling expense, what is the component of administrative expense, the component of other income and expense. You just want to know about what is the number of the selling expense, what is the number of the administrative expense. You just want to know about it. But if you want to see the detail, you can put this explanation of each account for the selling expense in your notes, the other notes, or you can put it on the financial notes. Ini bahasa we call it catatan atas laporan keuangan, notes of the financial statement. And then this is reporting within the income statement. We have gross profit compute by deducting cost of goods sold from the net sales. Jadi bagaimana menghitung gross profit? Ya, penjualan dikurangi dengan cost of goods sold. Kita dapatlah yang namanya gross profit atau laba kotor. This gross profit provides a useful number for evaluating performance and predicting future earnings. Unusual or incidental revenue are disclosed in other income and expense. So why the gross profit is very important? Jadi Pak, kenapa ya kalau laba kotor itu mesti dihitung? As you know that almost all of your company activity, for example, is selling a product. Maybe you can sell like a electronic device, and the electronic device, of course, you have cost of goods sold for each item. Jadi kan setiap device yang kamu jual itu ada harga pokoknya. Kamu beli 1 juta, jualnya misalnya 2.500.000. Maka ketika nilai jual itu dikurangi dengan harga pokok, itulah yang namanya gross profit. Kok penting? Karena kita mau tahu sebelum kita punya administrative expense, the other operational expense, we just want to know that is the company in selling activity get profit or not. Jadi sebenarnya kamu jual beli itu untung atau tidak. Nah, itu yang mau dilihat dari gross profit. And then income from operation determined by deducting selling and administrative expense as well as other income and expense from the gross profit. Highlight items that affect regular business activities used to predict the amount, timing, and uncertainty of the future cash flow. So this is the expense classification. In nature, we have cost of material use, direct labor incurred, delivery expense, and advertising expense, employee benefits, depreciation expense, and amortization expense. So from this nature of the expense classification, we have the function of each expense First, to calculate the cost of goods sold, selling to calculate the selling expense, and to calculate the administrative expense. In order to, you can know how much the gross profit, you can know how much your expense in selling the product, and also how much your expense in administrative activities. And this is the illustration. This is the firm of Taylor School, perform audit, tax, and the consulting service. It has the following revenue and expense. First, service revenue 400,000. This is cost of service. We have staff salaries and supplies expense. We have selling expense. When we have administrating expense. Which this data we can provide the income statement for Taylor School. We have service revenue 400,000 minus staff salary, supplies, administration costs, utilities expense, depreciation on building, entertainment expense. So we got net income for 205,000. This is the function of the expense approach. If you can see the service revenue 400, cost of service for 155, selling expense is 23,000, and administrative expense is 70,000. So we got the net income is 205,000. And then the net income represent the income after all revenue and expense. For the period of the considered, viewed by many as the most important measure of the company's success or failure for a given period of time. And this is how to allocate the non-controlling interest. When a company prepare a consolidated income statement, in bahasa we call it laporan keuangan konsolidasi, laporan laba rugi konsolidasian. IFRS requires that net income be allocated to the controlling and non-controlling interest. This allocation is reported at the bottom of the income statement after the net income. This is net income, and then we have the shareholder and non-controlling interest. And this is the example presented below. In some financial information related to the Poile Group, compute the following. The first is revenue 800, and then minus income from operation, selling and administrative expense, we got 80,000. This is the financing cost, income from operation, and then minus income before income tax, we got 20,000. The income tax, income from continuing operation 100,000, and income before income tax 200,000. So the income tax is 100,000. This is for the discontinued operation, income from continuing operation, net income minus 90,000, and we have discontinued operation is for 10,000. Other comprehensive income, we have comprehensive income minus net income. So the other comprehensive income is 30,000. And then how to calculate the earning per share? In bahasa we call it laba ditahan. Is net income minus preferred dividend divided by weighted average of ordinary share outstanding. Laba bersih dikurangi dengan dividen preferred dibagi dengan nilai rata-rata tertimbang dari saham biasa yang beredar. A significant business indicator, earning per share, measure the dollar earned by each ordinary share and must be disclosed on the face of the income statement. Jadi kalau kita ngomong soal laba ditahan, kenapa laba ditahan itu penting? Ya kamu mau tahu kan, kamu megang saham, berapa sih laba yang bisa dapat, yang saya akan dapatkan dengan saya memegang saham ini. By hold this share, how much earning that I will get after the cut off of the income statement. Jadi ketika cut off-nya 31 Desember nih, dapat laba nih tahun 2022, kita bisa memprediksi how much the earning per share that we will get from by hold the stock or the share of the company. This is the illustration. Landshark Incorporated report the net income of 350,000. It declared and paid preferred dividend for 50,000 for the year. The weighted average number of ordinary shares outstanding during the year is 100,000 shares. So Landshark computes earning per share as follows. Net income, this is the formula, net income minus the preferred dividend divided by weighted average of ordinary share outstanding. So 350,000 minus 50,000 divided by 100,000. So we have $3 per share. Jadi kita laba ditahannya adalah $3 per lembar saham. After that we have a retained earnings statement. When we learn in Introduction to Accounting 1 and Introduction to Accounting 2 about in proprietorship company and the partnership company, when the company when you or your firm get income, get net profit, it will be added to the equity. Jadi kalau dapat laba dulu langsung dimasukkan ke ekuitas ke masing-masing nama si pemilik. Nah, tapi kan kalau in corporation, when we learn about the corporation in Introduction to Accounting 2 and also in this chapter in Intermediate Accounting 1, we call it retained earnings statement, not the changing in equity, but we have a retained earnings statement. Increasing from the net income, change in accounting principle or pure period adjustment. Decreasing by the net loss, dividend, change in accounting principle or pure period adjustment. There are some adjustment. It can affect the retained earning statement. This is for the example for Choi Inc. Retained earning January 1st as reported is 1,050,000. The correction for understatement of net income in period for the inventory error, berarti ada kesalahan dalam menghitung persediaan, 50,000. So retained earning adjusted will be 1,100,000. And then there are additional from the net income 360,000. So the balance will be 1,460,000. Less cash dividend for 100,000, share dividend 200,000. The total is 300,000. So 1,460,000 minus 300,000. The earning for the ending balance will be 1,160,000. And then before issuing the report for the year ended 31st December 2050, you discover that there are 50,000 error of the net of tax that caused 250 inventory to be overstated, or overstated inventory cost of goods sold to be lower and thus net income to be higher in 2014. Would this discovery have any impact on the reporting of the statement of retained earning for 2015? So this is the balance for January 1st, 1,050,000. There are some adjustment for 50,000. So the balance restated for 1 million. Net income will be 360. Dividend 300,000. Balance will be 1,060,000. Okay. Maybe that's all for our material today. I hope you can understand and learn more from your ebook. You must read it a lot in order to you can understand more comprehensively about this chapter. Okay, maybe that's all. Thank you for your coming and watching this video. At last, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.